He's like on the tomb, like it's him on the Shinga, like naked, going like
yeah, calendar.
Like, oh, him on the dragon, just like splayed out.
Welcome back to Seeker and Confessor, a Sword of Truth podcast. My name's Lauren.
And I'm Frank.
And today we are going to be discussing chapter 33 of Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, so I do have a couple of things I'd like to discuss before we get into the chapter.
Lay 'em on me thick. Let's go.
Okay, well first, we didn't receive any fan mail. I have faith that at some point somebody will send another one, but for now I'm a little sad. But what I mostly wanted to say about it is that on the I keep calling it fan mail, and on the back end the feature is in fact called fan mail, but I'm telling people to go click and fan mail us, and that is not what it says for the people.
What does it say?
It says send us a text message.
Oh.
Which is sort of like...
Are you trying to grant him a pass?
Well, maybe.
You're like, oh, maybe directions were unclear.
That could be why.
Time.
I also think it's weird for people to think I just decided to call the feature fan mail, if that's not in fact... Like, I'm telling you...
So that's what it's called for you.
Yeah, when I log in and I receive it, it says you've gotten fan mail. So I was like, oh, that's
really weird.
What it's called. And also...
And what, it just says send them a text?
It says send us a text message. I think that's too vague because I wouldn't know what that means if I saw it. I would be like, what do you mean send them a text message?
Well... So that is what they're doing then.
But technically it is going via text.
It comes to your phone.
But
like,
it does not, it doesn't get sent to me as a text.
Oh.
I have to log in and like go to the fan mail thing. It's like an email inbox. This is all very confusing, you guys.
Sorry.
I'll receive the message though. And that is the text message thing is what I was talking about.
Okay,
if there
so
was
send
any
us a
confusion,
text, which will then get translated into an email in our fan mail account.
Correct. So second order of business, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Svenny.
Mr. Svenny.
Because he did a bunch of anthropological digging. He went through multiple books in the future of the series. Right. And he did find one mention of Shota having big boobs.
Yes! What book?
I don't remember. My phone. I don't have my phone.
All right. Mr. Svenny, I'm here to help. This is a direct quote. I also took the liberty of checking books 4, 10, and 12. Uh-huh. And the best/only description we get is quote-unquote ample.
So, ample is a good word.
For a lot of tit.
To support this theory.
It's a great word for that.
Honestly, it happening later in the series makes more sense for why you would remember it, because that was more recent. You read it more recently.
I've never forgotten a chest. I've never forgotten big boobs in my life.
You saw ample.
I saw ample, and it was just drilled in there
clearly.
Forever.
But well, thank you so much for doing that research for us. That's really appreciated.
From the bottom of my heart. The haters might not care as much, but I knew it was there.
You feel justified?
Vindicated.
Yeah.
Glorious.
There's something to it.
There's everything to it.
Okay, so then that's the update on that, if anybody really was dying to know.
Huge update.
Yeah, ample update.
Yeah.
And, okay, another thing.
Okay. What do we got?
Before we even start, I'm going to complain a little bit about more Lord of the Rings irritation.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's kind of related to the fan mail we received last episode. Okay. Where he said that Zed was looking for the Book of Counted Shadows, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so then perchance, I also happened to read a post on the Sword of Truth subreddit.
Okay.
Where they were talking about Zed, and they were discussing, I don't even remember what the discussion was. It was something about, like, how do you feel about Zed's character? Was he around enough? People were chiming in. And then somebody was sort of being like, was also talking about that. They were like, oh, he wasn't around much in the first book because he ran off to go find the book It Counted Shadows. And he was like, searching through the archives. And then I was like, wait a minute.
My boy.
Wait, this is exactly what Gandalf does. And it's not sticking out to me because when he told us that was what he was doing, I didn't put that together that was why he left. And did not accompany Richard, and that's what he was. But it's like this. Also, Gandalf comes to Frodo, says, "Here's your magical item. Go on the quest. I gotta go. I'm getting really hung up in the archives, looking at books, finding information about the magical object." Is exactly the same.
Gandalf also may or may not face off against the Shadow Beast. Go to the underworld and spend a couple of days, weeks, under months.
It's like the weakest
out of the picture because of his interaction with said beast.
This was like the baby
through
version.
the minds of Moria, what was happening to the party? They were getting chased. Chase Branson.
Okay. Yeah.
Guys, we're cracking the code here.
No, that bothered me a little bit because that's too on the nose. I get big archetypal things. Like, I'm not upset about having a wizard. I'm not upset
That'd
about...
be weird. That'd be a lot.
I'm not upset about the figures of, like, this hero. He's young. There's this older wizard character who's very powerful, guiding him. There are certain things that are just so broad and part of the genre that I would... Of course, they're going to, like, mirror each other. I have no issues with that. These things are just too specific, and like I just don't buy that he wasn't just like I don't know. Everybody has a different threshold for like where it feels like part of the genre versus a copy. To me,
listen, if he hadn't done the Samuel and a couple other
that's
things,
what I'm saying.
I wouldn't think very much.
I wouldn't stick out. It's too many
being away. But yeah, now we're getting into the I copied your whole homework, Mr. Tolkien.
Yeah, so.
Sorry to Rolkin, Tolkien.
Yeah, for real. So this chapter, how are we feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, pretty good.
I almost am like, don't want to film this right now because it's just so solidly mid-good.
It's mid-good.
That I don't know how much there is to say. It is not over the top fun or exciting and amazing where I'm going to be like hyped up about how good it was. It's also not bad in the way where I can like kind of make fun of it much because it wasn't actually really bad. It was just a solidly decent chapter.
Yeah, I agree. And after a series of downers, I think I'll take every mid win I can.
Yeah, I do understand why Erica and Cynthia said that they enjoyed this arc.
Oh, yeah.
And that things pick up a lot. I can feel that there is momentum here that would feel amazing if I was reading it normally. So I'm going to give it credit for that, even though I'm not really experiencing it. I could tell it would work if I was.
Once upon a time you did.
So. Yeah, I'm sure I was loving it at this point back then.
Yeah.
So I understand because like shit is actually like moving. I'm not having things coming up often that give me pause where I'm like, wait, what? That's not happening. That's nice. Yeah, it's like perfectly serviceable right now.
I'd even give it a point beyond that. I think it was pretty just...
It was pretty good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I liked it. So we left off last time with... Richard and Kaelin not doing well. We don't know what's going on with them. They're not in this chapter. So that's still a cliffhanger. Yep. They're separate and that's the end of that. And then we had the plot line with Rachel and Giller putting the Box of Orden in the bread.
Yep.
Rachel is going to take it outside of the palace.
That's the goal.
Okay, that's kind of where we're starting up again. So they're back in the banquet hall. It's the same day.
Yep.
That Giller and her were in the jewelry room putting the bread thing together. And they're back at the banquet hall just like the time we were there when they were drinking the special drink.
It's only a couple rooms in this whole castle.
Yeah. And she's sitting behind Princess Violet and she's thinking about how she's going to like make Princess Violet send her out tonight so she can take the bread and go.
How's she going to mess with the Tubby over here?
Right.
Yeah.
So the people of the palace are also there. They're still drinking that special drink. I kind of thought it was like a one-time.
It felt like a one. Well, it felt like they do it I felt like it was ceremonial,
right?
And not an every night sort of beverage.
Guess not.
Yeah.
They're still drinking it. And
do you think they're drinking the amped up version? Yeah, because she said you're in charge now. So
yeah,
so it's just gravy and bullshit. Which honestly, I can go for a little au jus right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was one thing that stood out where I just like didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
She's looking around, observing everybody. She looks over to Giller. Giller is speaking with the court artist.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah. What did you get out of this?
I don't know. He's speaking with the court artist, which I was like, okay, I kind of like that concept. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know that I've ever come across a court artist in a fantasy book, but I fuck with the idea if it's real or not real, right? Cool.
I'm sure there was one, right?
Let's hear more about it. I like
What's up with this guy?
So Rachel's scared of the court artist because he smiles funny at her. He only has one hand.
Yeah.
And everyone is scared he will draw a picture of them. And then we just move on. No further mention about this man.
Now, what the fuck does that mean?
I really want to know more, though.
All right, so let's use our imagination. Let's throw a couple of theories out there. So what do you think?
I'm thinking say cheese and die.
Your brain would go there, yeah.
Right? I'm he paints you and then your doom comes. So there's
something. You think there's some sort of folklore magic around this man's abilities.
But why, if that were true, why? Oh, I guess does she employ him? Not
she's
for
cutting
his art.
Heads off. There's no way she's also got a artist killer there to just
I want to know.
Paint you into a fresco forever.
I don't know.
When I really hate them, I don't cut off their head. I get Tony over here to fucking hit some oil paints. It's just such an
interesting collection of things to find out. Court artist, already kind of weird. He's scary to the children and has a weird smile. He has one hand and nobody wants to get their picture painted by him. It feels very that Willem Dafoe meme.
He's gay.
He loves classical
music. Yeah.
He's gay. He has a weird smile. He has one hand.
You don't want to be painted by him.
Literally, it's just what
it mean? All right, so he's got a weird smile. So what are we thinking? We already have one pedophile in the mix. So I'm like, all right, is he a pedophile? I know, weird to put more than one, but okay.
Well, he's certainly creeping her out.
Is he a weird / slow person with one hand that the court employs, as a jester type thing?
There's a lot of mystery.
Do you not want him to draw the painting because he's just really bad at it? Is he gonna just give you a terrible portrait?
How odd. I don't know what to make of it. All I want to know, don't tell me. I don't want to know spoilers about this man because I'm curious to find out. But just give me a yes or no in the comments or wherever to, does he come back and is he relevant in some way? That's all I need to know. I need to know if I should keep my hopes up about finding out more or should I let it go and this was just a passing mention. Do you know?
He's the big bad of book 3.
You're lying.
I'm definitely lying. He'll never come back.
You're wrong.
Richard might kill him.
You just say things.
All right. So when I say he'll never come back, he might come back, but it'll be so unsatisfying. That's what I'm going to say.
We don't know. You negatively overestimate future things. There has been so many times that you've been like, "That's not coming back. That sucks. That's this. There will be no explanation," and dead ass wrong.
But how many times have I been right?
Sometimes you'd be right, but sometimes you'd be wrong. And I think maybe the court artist, the Calthrop, he wasn't coming back.
Old John's just gone. Old John's gone.
Coming back.
No.
But maybe the court artist with one hand instilling fear in the people, maybe he'll be back.
Maybe he will. And I think it'll be for 4 seconds until Richard kills him. But
that is such an interesting little thing to leave me hanging on.
Yeah, what a weird thing. Is this Terry just writing about a guy he didn't like? Just
you think he knows a man?
A one-handed artist that he didn't trust? This feels like a guy in a dream.
I know.
There was a courtroom artist in the kingdom with one hand. You didn't want your picture painted by him. Trust me that. What?
I just want to know why not.
All
what
right.
will happen? Okay. Anyway, moving on. That wasn't important or relevant to the rest of the chapter.
Or series.
So all of a sudden, yeah, well, probably not. Everybody starts reacting in the crowd, and they're all looking.
What?
They're all looking up at the banquet table in amazement. So Rachel turns to see what's going on, and to her surprise, there's two giant
Would you
men.
believe the most jacked men she's ever seen?
Huge, like absolute monsters.
With like big, sharp things on their biceps.
Once you hear giant, huge men, you're like, Daharans.
Obviously.
Right.
And blonde? Locked.
And so, yeah, they're there, and they're like coming towards the queen. How'd they get in? I don't know. So then Darken Rahl enters with them. And Rachel thinks he is the most handsome man she's ever seen. So I was like, wow, okay. So he is objectively like really hot. Because I feel like we're kind of playing with him in this weird space of like, he's like pretty.
Yeah.
But then also like, maybe it's just the way he's described.
She's like a 6 to 8 year old girl. So I think she's probably just very beautiful.
I guess he's like giving like Sephiroth prettiness.
It's Griffith. It's Sephiroth.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not Henry Cavill with
Guts.
a blonde wig. It's definitely not Guts. Come on.
I think Craig Parker is a really weird choice for Darken Rahl, given the way he's described, and I think he's very handsome. I just don't feel like he's handsome in the way Darken Rahl is described. Right? He's handsome.
Yeah, but he's handsome. Like he looks like he took like Kieran Culkin and mixed him with like PJ Simmons, which is not.
That is a really weird description.
Like he's not.
Like that is not the description.
No, that looks like Wish.com's Aragorn, which is not what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like I don't know. He's a good looking.
And why is he not blonde?
Because he was in Lord of the Rings, and he was an elf. And I swear to God, they were just like, we can't do it again.
Then don't cast this man.
I don't know why they had to cast
He's
him.
canonically blonde, and so is his whole race. You can't just make him brown hair because he looked too much like the Lord of the Rings elf.
We're going to do a Legend of the Seeker
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Through after we're done with this book. So I don't want to let's not get into it too much.
Okay.
I just thought of it because she was describing how handsome he was.
Yep.
And I was trying to picture it, and I was like, Craig's not the type of handsome
He's
am
not.
imagining.
No.
So, okay, I didn't love the like, Darken Rahl's coming at this date. Just kidding, Darken Rahl's coming tomorrow. Just kidding, Darken Rahl's here now. I thought, like, what? I don't know.
Well, it invalidates all the tension.
Yeah, like it's just
it just you're like, oh no, he's coming sooner than expected. That is all you need. The candle is lit. It's not more satisfying for him to come quicker unless you really build and play with that tension. So just to be like, he's here is like, all right, well,
it's just weird.
You just started the chapter and we're like, he's right behind you. That's not good, It
didn't work for me really, but some part of me was like, you know what? Yeah, let's just get this show on the road. I guess I'm glad he's here.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to wait till tomorrow.
No.
So the queen says, what an unexpected surprise. We weren't expecting you until tomorrow. He lays it on thick with Queen Milena.
Smooch in the hands.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get here to see your lovely face again.
Oh,
Forgive me for being early, Your Majesty. You're like, wow, he's really killing it.
He's killing it. He's rizzed up.
Yeah, the queen giggles. He kisses her hand. She introduces him to the lords and ladies in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Rachel is stressed about this development because they had a whole plan.
They did.
And she's like, how am I going to get out of the castle now? Giller also looks stressed because he was not ready for this. Thing is, Giller, the way this all goes down, Giller should have been stressed no matter when Darken Rahl was coming. Because if he had come tomorrow, same shit would have gone down for him.
Giller had no chance here.
Yeah.
Giller was outclassed, clearly.
Darken Rahl takes it upon himself to say, you know what, dinner's over. Ladies and gentlemen, you will excuse us now.
Which, like, if I'm at a banquet and someone comes in and says dinner's over, I'm pissed.
Right.
You can't just hit me with
I need to know how far in they were. Like, maybe we were already at the tail end of the dinner.
I don't care. Who are you? I know he's like the leader of the unfree world, but
giving man with all the boxes and like I have power over the whole world. Like he's in character as if it's happened already.
But it hasn't. That's his hubris.
Exactly.
You don't have all the boxes, and neither does Queen Milena.
Right. So everybody does in fact leave. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Giller and a few of the Queen's advisors stay. Princess Violet stays, so Rachel's like, I might as well stay to like figure out what's going on, and maybe I'm allowed to be here because like I'm always with the princess. But she tries to be like unobtrusive. If the lighting shifted, one of our lighting bulbs died.
Can't prove it.
I guess you can't. Okay, so everybody leaves dinner. Right, a couple of people stay behind, including Rachel. So the Queen offers him some food, specifically a roast, and Darken Rahl does not like that. He says, I don't approve of butchering helpless animals and then consuming their flesh. Which clearly...
Come on, bitch.
You're supposed to be like, oh my god, what a, like, hypocrite. And then I guess it does make you curious to be like, what is the logic behind his moral code, I guess? Like, what is it?
Whatever's good for him in the moment.
Why is this good for him?
He thinks eating meat is gross, so he has now moralized eating meat. So anyone that eats meat is disgusting, but he'll eat boys' testicles for a magic spell. I
can't, to be fair, boys.
Where are you going?
To be
right?
fair.
Yeah, okay. Let's hear the counterpoint to that.
About eating the boys' testicles. He doesn't, he didn't, like, love eating boys' testicles. In fact, they went to great lengths to be like, he doesn't want to do this. He's disgusted by it, but he simply must for ruling the world.
Yeah. Which we never got a description of what the fuck he did on that Shinga. Like, what was the point of that?
I have no idea.
And then he just shows up on a dragon anyway, so I don't know.
True. Yeah. Well, the Shinga, he rides the Shinga in the underworld. He doesn't ride it in the overworld. What? Fast travel.
Maybe that's it.
Get the dead to get him information also, it seems like.
Okay.
He deals in ghosts knowledge.
You telling me he's a ghost monger?
It's a ghost monger.
Well, like a cheesemonger, someone who like deals in cheese.
He deals in secrets of the ghosts.
Yeah. I said what I said.
So that's part of it probably. I wish the Shinga did anything. So that was another one that was correct.
Anything. If the Shinga did even a little thing, that'd be cool.
So anyway, I don't know. It's not like it would be really hypocritical if you were like, Darken Rahl loves cannibalism. It doesn't... I don't get the sense he likes to cannibalize people.
No, he just will do things he doesn't like for power.
Right, but I think he would eat an animal for power as
absolutely.
well.
If you were like, oh,
right.
You actually have to eat this cow's brain to go to the underworld, he'd be like, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you served him testicles here, I think he also wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to know, what is the moral code that would allow you to be like, I don't approve of killing animals, but I do approve of killing all life. Like, what is that?
I think the implication is that he doesn't want to kill all life. He just wants to rule over all life.
And for what? Like, what's he going to do?
Dominate the world. Potentially protecting everyone from Jigang and his dream-walking nonsense.
Oh, is that going to be a reveal? That, like, he had a little plan all along?
I don't think so.
Maybe. I just want to know, I would like to know his rationale, even if it's, like, crazy. I just, like, kind of want to know.
Greater world magic politique is not, like, Terry's strong suit. So.
Isn't it? Maybe?
No.
I'll have to see and decide for myself. Queen Milena is, like, thrown by this... comment.
She's shook. She's like, should I go vegan?
Yeah, she's like trying to get them to make him turnip soup or something. And
yeah, thanks, man.
He's like, you know what? I'm not even here to eat. So don't worry about it.
Facts.
That's not why I came.
I'm here for a little thing called ruling the world.
Right.
I don't want your turnip soup.
So She says he's early. She doesn't have the paperwork, like, ready to go. She didn't sign all of the papers yet. And she's like, I assume you're going to want, like, your lawyers to look this over.
Like, legit. Bro, this meeting was scheduled for tomorrow. I haven't signed anything.
Yeah, but also, she's also like, and I assumed you were going to, like, take it back home and have your men take a look at what I'm saying.
It is so Terry to put this in.
I don't hate it.
It's so horrifically boring, the entire conversation between them, and then they bring all the documents out and spend even a line being like they signed over all of it, and then he has an opinion on signatures.
Yeah,
it's just like, come on, Terry Goodkind.
I'd like to get into that. This didn't bother me that much. I don't know why.
He should have like a royal vizier with him, and he just waves his hand like, "Oh, Terrence will take care of it."
I guess. No, but like there's something maybe...
I don't know.
He's like, I'm going to sign all the documents. I'll even sign any new documents you whip up now and in the future. I don't give a shit. I trust you to deal with me fairly. And then he like turns it around on her and he's like, are you implying that you're like trying to trick me? Which like, oh, I don't know. I think it's okay.
It's fine.
We know he doesn't mind signing the documents because he's like, once I have the box,
yeah, that's a clear sign in a negotiation you're probably losing.
Maybe
if you're like, yeah, I'll sign anything you get, I don't care, you're not screwing me, it's fine.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a minute, what am I giving this guy?
Why does she think he wants it?
Do you really feel like we have a good look into Queen Miletta's inner mind and monologue?
I just want to know why, like, what's her... Like, when he approached her and was like, I need that box, why does she think he... I guess she's just, like, cool artifact, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a magic thingy. Wizards deal with it. That seems cool. Okay.
She's like, I'm not trying to trick you, but, like, this is still very unusual, the way you're going about this. And then he's like, our alliance is unusual. So she asks for the papers to be brought in. She tells Giller to go get the Box of Orden. He kisses Princess Violet's hand and says she's as pretty as her mother, and Princess Violet holds her hand to her chest and like smiles.
Did you think that was cute?
It's a little sweet, out of context. Yeah.
It's sad.
I thought like Terry was kind of trying to do a little like when he's like, you're as pretty as your mom. Like we were supposed to be like, oh.
We know she's ugly.
But it doesn't actually work because he literally walked in the room and said, I came here to see your lovely face. So then when you compliment her,
it's continuously
predicated on the fact that you already said you thought she was pretty. So it doesn't really work as well.
Nope.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to be that Darken Rahl was being clever. It was supposed to just be like a wink at the audience.
I've had enough of Terry's wings.
The papers come out. They sign the papers. There's like a lot of fuss about the fact that the queen has a red wax seal she's using.
Yeah.
And that Darken Rahl does not have a wax seal, and that's like weird.
He thinks it's dumb, and he just says my signature will suffice. I'm like, don't you think I'd recognize my own signature?
Right, I was like, but is it about you recognizing your signature? Isn't it for other people to believe that your signature is real?
Correct. Yeah, I
didn't know what to make of it.
I have no idea. It just felt like Terry had an opinion on seals versus signatures.
But yeah, but at this juncture, we don't like either of these people.
No.
So he can't.
Neither of them are right.
Which side is he falling on?
I think this is one of those things where it's like, it's a clue to the audience that Darken Rahl really does have a lot of weird pedantry-like opinions, kind of like someone else we know. It's Richard's dad. Like, I think it's kind of like a characterization nod in that direction. Maybe. But, like, I don't know. Yeah, we don't care or like. We definitely hate both of these people. For sure. They're both bad.
Wait, Darken Rahl's he's Richard's dad? He's not his brother? Why can't I keep this straight? They're not brothers?
Maybe they are.
I think they're brothers.
I don't think they are.
It's his...
I think
How old is Darken Rahl?
I don't know.
I'm picturing him
pretty
like...
sure. Yeah, that's because I think you're thinking Richard's older than he technically is.
I think I'm picturing Richard being 20 and Darken Rahl being like in his 30s. Like, I'm not picturing him old.
Yeah, maybe he had a baby at 12.
You're telling me he wouldn't have experienced twink death at this point if my dude is over 35?
He is a magical lord of death. No, I don't think twink death hits them. Not till like 80.
I don't know.
Twink death is not a problem for Darken Rahl.
It should be.
No death is a problem for Darken Rahl.
I'm just saying. I think I'm picturing him so pretty and fresh faced.
He is, and he will continue to be.
And then I'm like, I don't see how that could be Richard's dad.
I don't remember it making much sense either.
Are you sure? How sure are you?
75%.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
For daddy.
Yeah. Father, Faja. Richard Cypher's not his dad.
No, I know that. I know that.
Darken Rahl is.
I wasn't saying Darken Rahl's his brother and George was Darken Rahl's dad. I was thinking Penis was Richard's dad and Darken's dad.
That would make sense. It's not the case.
His dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe it was like some sort of commentary on like bureaucratic nonsense.
Like caring about either?
Yeah.
Sure, probably.
Something like that. Okay, so Giller brings out the fake Box of Orden, presents it to Darken Rahl. Darken Rahl immediately has one of the big guards come over, take the box, and he just crushes it.
Like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing in his hands.
Uh-huh.
Which I was like, I guess that is like a good test, because I'm sure the box, the real one, you can't.
True artifacts don't break.
You can't do that too. Probably for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you could break it.
It's not real.
But I mean, I guess from the very beginning, here's the thing. I know that the like messaging is going to be, and it's good messaging really, but the messaging is going to be that even though Giller fucked up here technically, if the goal was for him to survive, and all of that.
The goal, the biological imperative.
Right. That like he needed to do this fuck up for the plan to actually work out as it was supposed to. So I get that.
In a way, yeah.
But like I am just like from Giller's point of view, if he really was trying to like trick him, like yeah, the second you told me that plan, I'm like, you really don't think they're gonna know? How would they know?
How are they gonna know?
How will they know?
Okay, so a couple of things, right? So like and we'll get into the nitty gritty of how Darken Rahl comes to suspect Giller, but.
Do we really?
You did not make a box strong enough for a man with big muscles not to be able to crush with one hand.
And what is this theme though? Because like the Calthrop also one hand.
Theme.
It's happening again.
Wait.
You think it means something?
Oh my
I was
God.
just struck. It did make me picture the Calthrop. I was like, oh, another guy taking a thing and like just like.
I was thinking something today, and wait, did I write it on my phone? Hold on. Terry's got a theme in his writing of this like call and response to himself.
Yeah.
Where he goes back and does things twice.
Yes,
and he does it over and over again.
Yeah.
And I had a thought about it today, but I can't really remember what it is.
It's unfortunate.
I don't remember.
But even Darken Rahl showing up early, he did it twice.
I know.
But then it's going to happen when Rachel tries to exit the castle.
She comes in and out. That's what made me like start thinking about it.
She goes out and then she comes back in and then she goes back out. We do her trying to escape twice. We do it 2, sometimes 3 times, but it does keep happening. But hey, big man crushing thing.
Happened twice. Why do you think?
I don't know. It feels like subconscious. That doesn't feel intentional.
Or do you think it's like, did he like somewhat think this is smart? Like, you don't think he planned it at all? You think it's just subconscious?
Know.
It seems too constant. So it's either like something that's in the mechanism of the author himself.
I don't know why. If you just asked me intuitively, I think I would say that. I think it's just mechanically something he feels compelled to do. Like it feels good for him while writing to do that. I don't know that. Maybe it's intentional. And maybe it's a mixture of both, but like it does for some reason to me feel just like something he's just doing.
But we can say for sure it's a pattern at this point.
Yeah,
like
I can't.
It happens a lot.
I'm really curious if it will stop happening in future books.
I don't feel like I remember this sort of thing going on in the future, but like maybe I was just so used to the rhythm of it at that point.
There's a rhythm to it, and you were not stopping and analyzing constantly. So
no, that's true.
Okay, so the queen is like, "Oh my God, why did the box break? What is going on?" Darken Rahl asks her. He's like, "Same question, bitch. Like, you tell me what's going on." The box is a counterfeit, right?
Yeah.
And so then they like look at Giller, and Giller's like, oh, "This is the same one." one I've had since day one.
This is nuts. I've been watching this box the whole time.
That's the one. They must have, whenever you got the box originally, they must have given you a fake one, which, like, really, that is the only argument you could make in this scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a good argument. It's like, oh my God, it's literally like when people try to use counterfeit money. That happens all the time. And sometimes it's probably true where, like, people will give you the counterfeit bill. This is if you work retail. And then you're like, that's a counterfeit bill. And then they're like, the bank gave me that. And you're like, well, maybe.
He presents that argument. Mm-hmm. Giller's like, same box I've been watching. Mm-hmm. Darken Rahl's like, not possible. Because as a wizard, you would know that this box that I just broke and the real box feel totally different from a wizard's perspective.
I feel like I know where you're going.
Well, Giller didn't think of that, couldn't have done a spell to make it feel more like Orden, or maybe...
He's not that talented, maybe.
Maybe he's not that talented. Maybe Darken Rahl is so attuned to the boxes at this point that there's just no chance to fool him. Like, maybe he did try.
That probably, too.
But it seems to be presented that there was no trace of the same magic. So, like, whatever thing is on the fake box was not on the real box, vice versa, you know? So, from a writing perspective, wouldn't it have made more sense for Darken Rahl to sense that, try and figure out what was going on before breaking it, and say, like, well, why does this box feel wrong? You're a wizard, you should be able to tell that.
Right, that is true.
And then be like, and if it's not real, if it's real, then he shouldn't be able to do this, and then...
Yeah, starting off with the crush is kind of weird, because what Darken Rahl's saying implies he already knew.
Yeah.
I guess he was just doing it for drama.
Which fits this guy. Yeah, that's true.
So Darken Rahl, not happy. He is like, you're lying, and has the guards pick Giller up and, like, drag him away.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need to have a conversation. So I guess he is going to have the conversation with him. Off screen, because he's probably going to torture him, we could assume. And as he's getting picked up and dragged away, Giller locks eyes with Rachel, and she hears his voice in her head saying, run.
Fly, you fools. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Run.
Okay. I mean, people getting in a shitty situation and telling somebody else to get out, whatever. That is so not, like, Lord of the Rings doesn't own that. Lord of the Rings does not own that one.
It doesn't own running from danger.
No, I don't think so.
Crazy.
So obviously she's upset. She's very distressed right now, and she's trying to be like, you know what? I have to do my duty anyway to get this loaf of bread out of the castle. So everybody's talking about the box and, oh my God, what just happened? They're like looking at the broken pieces, and Rachel's like, nobody's looking at me. I'm just gonna exit here.
Yeah, she like keeps checking. She like comes up above the table, and it's like nobody cares.
She takes off of the plates on her way out, the plates that were left by the lords and ladies. She takes some meat, rolls, and cheese to bring along with her because she's trying to leave the castle for good now.
Slick moves. Yeah.
We were correct in saying that she was going to meet Darken Rahl, and that did not make sense in retrospect.
What?
That Giller was like, you're gonna leave tonight and Darken Rahl's coming tomorrow, but also if you meet Darken Rahl, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, she was gonna meet Darken Rahl because Terry knew Darken Rahl was showing up tonight.
That's why Giller was not allowed to be fallible by not giving her enough information.
So she runs out, she gets outside, she gets the Box of Orden bread, she has her food, she's ready to go.
The bread of Orden.
She gets the bread of Orden, she's ready to go, and then she's like, oh my God, I left my doll Sarah back in Princess Violet's room. And I do think it's realistic if you're little and you're really, especially in her circumstance of being like attached to a doll like that, even like a normal little kid would probably do that.
You should never have brought it into the castle, but
that's true.
At the same point, yeah, you're right.
So she decides she's going to go back inside and get it. And she goes through the servants' quarters.
She tucks the bread back in first, which, good move.
Yeah, definitely. Don't bring it inside. And so, she goes through the servants' quarters, like the back side of the castle, so she's not seen.
And it takes a whole page and it's boring.
I don't know. I kind of thought that the atmosphere wasn't, like, awful.
I don't know why I read it like 3 times and I like took no details in. Like my brain was just
it
like,
wasn't anything particularly incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it was terrible. Like I've read.
No. You're right.
It wasn't
There's
bad.
definitely bad stuff in here that's not that.
So she hears the servants talking about Giller and that the Darken guards are going to do a full search of the castle. Sorry, I just got distracted. There's so many bees in that tree.
Oh, it's beat up?
Like crazy.
It's pollen pilled?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this happens every year. Whenever the little flowers start blooming on the holly.
It's mogging the other trees. Okay, so she gets to Princess Violet's room. She goes into her little sleeping box. The doll is not there.
Wait. Oh no. Could it be Nani?
What happens next?
Princess Violet. From behind.
What does she say?
Looking for something?
Oh. That is what she says.
Looking for something?
She's being pure villainess.
This is the
here,
moment, yeah.
Looking for something, and she's holding the doll over the fireplace, right? She tells Rachel to come over to her. She like slaps her and then like backhands her.
It's like the hardest she's ever been hit.
You know, she's like, please don't throw the doll in the fire, whatever. And so then Rachel gets some moxie here. So
that was the last straw.
Yeah, she's pulling out the fire stick Giller gave her. And she's like, do not throw that in there or you are going to regret it. And you are like, you're rooting for her.
Girl's got nothing to lose.
At this point, right?
And we don't like this princess.
Right, for sure. I mean, you made sure I didn't like there was not one redeemable quality of the princess for me to say, oh, I feel a little bad.
There weren't even neutral qualities.
No.
There were only bad qualities.
So, I mean, the fact that we are rooting for Rachel in this situation isn't such a surprise.
No.
It just makes sense. So, you know, how dare you talk to me in that tone of voice? You're a nobody. I'm a princess. That's what she says. So Rachel's going crazy. She lights a little doily on fire on like a side table. Then she's lighting books on fire and like throwing them into the fireplace. And she says, give me the doll or I'll burn you.
Now, do you think those items were important?
I don't know.
I was trying to think like symbolically. A doily and a book. Like what are the... Well,
one is very decorative. Right.
Something. Oh, okay. So like,
honestly, I don't think so. I kind of just feel like he liked the image of
what's
like
on a bed
lighting. Oh, it wasn't on a bed. It was
like on
the
table. Bedside table. I meant.
Yeah. Like the table just like going up in flames. I think he just liked that.
Yeah,
I don't know why the books though. That's a good question. That seems random. I guess they're just flammable.
Yeah, it's things in a room that might burn.
Please don't hurt me. I'm afraid of fire. The princess says. That's like probably the first time you're like, oh, it's a little sad.
Yep.
Like a little girl being afraid of fire.
Rahl coded.
So true.
Rahl coded.
Oh my god. Wait, oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh, that is very Promethean. Giller giving her the fire stick.
Yes.
And her using it as her way to escape. Oh, then the books. I guess but she's burning the books. I don't know.
Go to Fahrenheit 451, turn to chapters. Open page 9. Giller says.
Yeah, but it definitely is Promethean. The like bad people keep being like, I don't like fire, and the good people keep being like, use fire as a tool.
It's literally, and fire stick, the magic tool, could not be more of an on the nose sort of fire stick, the magic tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind. This is at least like a little bit subtle.
Yep.
So I don't dislike it. It's a good, like, it's an objectively fine weapon to have, so it works on that level. She's asking her to not burn her, and Rachel actually does start to feel a little bad for her, probably because she's like, you know what, I can relate to being afraid of fire as one can.
Yeah.
But then she's like, thinks about how badly her face hurts, and she's like, nah, I don't fucking care. Princess Violet's trying to like be nice to her to get her to, you know, not burn her. And Rachel's like, you know what? I know this shit's a lie. You are, in fact, going to have my head chopped off when I leave here, no matter what. And that is true. So you're like, okay, okay, Rachel lit the fire stick, got her Promethean knowledge. Now she knows the evil and the manipulation at the core of humans. Sometimes, if you're a bad girl, like Princess Violet, right?
Yeah.
Rachel makes Princess Violet get inside of her sleeping box, and she locks her inside, and she says, "Good night, Violet. Go to sleep. I'm going to sleep in your bed tonight. I'm sick of your voice. If you make any noise at all, I'll come over and light your skin on fire. Do you understand?" I thought the inclusion of skin on fire is very creepy at first.
It's creepy, but that is how a kid might conceptualize
Yeah, no, I know, because
Yeah.
So you're like, I obviously understand why Rachel did this.
Mm-hmm.
And although, so she does leave her in the box and like, and I'm like, is the room on fire still?
I think the implication is no.
No, right?
I think the things burned up and that was it.
Okay. Well, so, okay, do you think this to me feels like clearly whatever theme we're going to be working on with the Mord Sith, this is
the introduction?
The intro of the thesis. Because I know the Mord Sith, the big part of it is that the girls they pick to be Mord Sith are the nicest girls they can find because they become the meanest when hurt. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either.
Right? I'm like, wait, what?
I mean, maybe in a psychological torture sort of way.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's just a weird thing to do. But also...
Anyway, I know how I feel about that, but I feel like that's what we're doing here. We're showing like an early version prototype of like, do you see Rachel was such a good girl, and then when she got pushed to this limit, she decided she was gonna want to hurt people too and do the torture. And I feel like this whole like, good night, I'm sick of your voice, blah blah blah, I feel like that was trying to give like baby Mord Sith, which is an uncomfortable
that's a weird feel
concept, but okay, I will accept Terry potentially doing things on multiple layers and levels, and there probably is a whole arc and theme to the Mord Sith that you could separate out of the sexuality angle, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt that this theme,
it definitely goes along with his doing things and then doing them again thing, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
for sure.
Is this first step? Is this the summation of the entire thesis? Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
We know what's coming.
Rachel was a sweet girl until she got pushed.
Until she was pushed too far, and now she wants to light
Rachel
people on fire.
was a darling little servant until she got pushed over the edge.
Yeah.
One hit too far.
Right.
Yeah. And
anyway, that was my thought about that.
And the fire stick is the Aegis. Aegis?
It's an Agil.
Aegis is a shield.
Agil. I don't know how you pronounce
it.
Let me see if the wiki tells me. It doesn't.
Great. The fire stick is the Agil.
Yeah, the imagery is there.
It's a stick that causes something.
Yeah, the choice to go so heavy on the dominatrix sexual side of it makes this difficult to stomach in a way. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just weird because I'm like, oh, you definitely could have done it without all that.
I agree.
Right? Like they could have just been like much more like warrior women who torture. You could have even done it with men. Who made it that they had to be women?
If it was men, my pee-pee would not be getting so hard. If it were men, I would not enjoy it sexually as much as I did.
Well, that's the problem now with, like, when I take out, subtractive magic, all the sex appeal here, and then I see those parallels, I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I start getting, like, hung up where I'm like, but...
You need red leather, skin tight.
Let's not get into it because we have so much of it coming up. We're not going to shut the fuck up about this for like weeks at a time.
I certainly won't. Where were we?
We were at...
Locked in the box.
She's locked in the box.
Yeah.
Rachel's like, I'm sleeping in your bed. You're sleeping in the box.
Yeah.
Rachel like tries to like trick her by like... It actually is pretty smart. She like doesn't want the princess to yell for help.
Yeah.
So she wants her to think that she's
still there.
She's sleeping in the bed and she's got the fire stick, right? So she like bounces on the bed a little bit, tries to make it sound like she's going to bed. Then she sneaks out. And she's back outside. She's got her bread of Orden. She's got everything she needs. Nice. She notices that there's the regular guards for the castle that are always around, and now there's Darken Rahl's guards are out there as well. So she's going to do her normal exit out of the castle walls, and the normal guard's about to let her out, and Darken Rahl's guard is like, hey, nobody's allowed out, not even this little freak, you know? Rachel's like, what would Giller do? What would Giller do? And so then she's like, plays it clever. She's like, oh, fine, you know, it's actually cold out. I'd rather stay inside. Fuck it.
And they're like, oh, that's right. Yeah, good, lady. Pass on back to your mistress, yeah.
So then she asks, she's like, oh, but what's your names? So the normal guards, they do answer. Their names have such an interesting convention.
Not normal guards. These are the Queen's Lancers.
Queen Lancer Reed and Queen
Lancer Walcott.
I kind of liked that. That was a little flavor for
you. What the hell? Where's this been? I like that shit.
Yeah, I know. I wish more. Come on. But anyway, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the new guard's like, why do you need my name? And she's like, because the princess sent me out, and she's going to want to chop my head off if I don't go out. But if I
could tell her who
told
me no,
right, I'll just tell her that you guys wouldn't let me out, and that's that. Obviously implying that the princess will instead chop their heads off. And the guards are like...
Yeah, and the local guards are like, no, we're not fucking around with the princess.
Yeah.
That girl's crazy. And the new guards
it does make sense. You're like, they have tons of precedent for thinking that the princess does this girl does always go out, the princess does get pissed at her.
Yep.
And will be pissed. So you're like, I thought this was all quite tight and convincing, right?
For once, it worked.
I know.
It was from getting back into the room all the way down out here, it was like smooth sailing.
Right.
I was like, from a reader's perspective, I was like, nice. You hit it. I don't have any major qualms.
Nothing.
She got her bread. She's going through customs, and that's that. So
the regular guards are like, we want to let her out. So here's the thing. If we're not I'm either letting her out right now, or we're all agreeing that your name is the one that she's giving the princess.
That's it.
And so then you see that the new Darken Rahl's guard is kind of like, I don't feel like dealing with this. And he's like, the whole point of not letting somebody out is we need to figure out who's a threat. And like, it's obviously not this girl. So we're back to our Frodo theme.
What do you think about that? What do you think about, because I think that's funny. I feel like that's like when they go into that, any of the characters in this book, when they go into that mode of speech, they're doing the Richard thing. They're trying to find truth, right? And it's like he will do that exact like thought pattern, and sometimes it'll be perfectly right, and then sometimes it's perfectly wrong.
I think that's intentional to some extent.
Okay.
Where it is like, this is figuring out the truth is confusing.
It is.
It's like you have to be very discerning in pursuit of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, I don't know. This I thought was more going to be like Wizard's First Rule-esque, where people want to believe things that they want to be true. So he didn't want to deal with the fact that the princess might get angry with him. True. So he was like, I believe she's not a threat, because that is convenient for me in this moment. I guess
that works.
I thought it was like that he just was allowing himself to be fooled because of the stress of the decision.
That's interesting.
And that was...
Yeah, I can mess with that.
I was going to say his downfall, but like not really, because honestly...
He saved all life.
Yeah, the Box of Orden would have ruined his life too,
So they peer pressure this guy.
Right, so then it's actually good that he fell for it, right?
Agree.
That's why I find
I
find the theories messy, where it's like, oh, well, it's obviously bad that humans lie to themselves sometimes. And I'm like, but is it? Because for this man and for everybody, it was actually great that he did that.
Well, I we'll get to the end of the book and we'll have more of an opinion on exactly how it's worded, but I feel like the implication is not that it's good or bad, it's just that this is how people are.
Okay, well then I don't like the inclusion of stupid. That's my issue.
Yeah, that's Zed's flair there, you know? Is that all Wizard's first rule? Is that just this guy's first rule?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is that Zed's first rule?
Is it like all wizards know people are stupid? Or
is it Zed the wizard?
Zed said.
Because it's... more palatable as like Zed's kooky
this
little
one firecracker wizard.
Yeah, where you're like, all right.
Yeah.
That's like how he gets his messaging across versus like all the most intelligent, powerful people came together and decided this is it. So first he wants to see what she has in her little bundle of food. It's the food and the doll. And then I didn't think it was like necessarily the most believable that he was like, well, why do you have a big loaf of bread for a little thing like you? Like, it's food. I don't know.
I took that to mean he just was like, I would rather eat that bread.
Oh, maybe.
So I was thinking about the bread, like if you were in a video game, right? And you like hovered your mouse over the bread.
Yeah.
Would it just be like bread and then like in purple, like legendary artifact? And you'd be like, what the fuck is that?
That's
It's like apple, oh, loaf of... What? Why is it worth 500,000 gold?
Wow.
You have to wonder.
The guy takes issue with the fact that she's a young girl who has too much bread. I feel like it was just to create like very quick momentary tension for the reader of like, oh, he's gonna take it. But it resolves so quickly.
But I did like the Queen's Lancer being... Honestly, all the guards are kind of nice to Rachel.
They were really nice to Rachel, I agree.
The one guard that let her back in was like, oh, you just forgot your doll? Like, all right.
Yeah,
like,
they were frequently being really sweet with her.
And that was nice.
Yeah.
And then, this one being like, leave her the fuck alone. She doesn't eat. Like, look at this. And I think one last shot at how fat Princess Violet is, in a way.
Yeah, totally.
She don't let her eat. You see how fat the princess is and how skinny this girl is? Let her have a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, then the guard is like checking the doll and he like flips her over to like look under her dress.
Looking under her dress.
It's really odd. And then
that is odd, right?
Rachel
it's a weird thing to do.
Kicks him in the leg. It says, "Don't you do that. Don't you have any respect?" And then the guards all laugh and they're like, "What'd you find under there?"
Yeah, anything dangerous? Like, fucking just...
Why did this man do that? Are we just like, the pedophiles in Dahara are out of control? It feels a little something.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just really weird. She kicks this man.
Yeah. Which is ballsy. Because the Daharans are big.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other guards just roast him immediately. Which you would. If I was with the boys and some little girl was like stomping on one of my friends, we're roasting the shit out of him. So like,
yeah, but I'm surprised. Like, given, I don't know. I guess it depends on this guard because I'm like, the guards are either going to be like have so much power that I'd be surprised that they wouldn't just be like, "You're roasting me, I'm killing you."
I don't think it's like that right now.
Maybe he's in constant fear of getting killed by Darken Rahl.
And if he makes a mistake, right, he's going to
get...
Yeah.
And I guess the implication is that one, because he did seem so nervous about, like, deciding what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, she makes it through.
She makes it, she books it.
Yeah, she gets out, she runs. So as she's running away, the doll starts talking to her and is like, "Hey, Giller can't come and meet you."
Yeah, this shit is the black box all of a sudden. Like, it's just, "Hey, Rachel, baby, I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Daddy's not gonna make it home for Christmas." Like,
and it's like, "Yeah, you gotta go do this alone." And Rachel's afraid of doing it alone.
Of course.
And the doll says, "I'll always be here with you." And I was like, is that like Christ?
Hold on. Is what like Christ?
The doll? Is it like representing that like inner faith?
Maybe the Holy Spirit would be more apt.
Not God. Well, or less.
Blessed.
Well, by God, I mean the Father.
Father Rahl.
Okay, no. Oh, I'm getting so many
Father Rahl.
What?
Father Rahl. Richard is Jesus. He's the son.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I don't know who the Holy Spirit
always.
is.
Yeah, I think that's like the Joseph Campbell of it all, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So
that is the Joseph Campbell of it all.
The doll's like, "You can't go to your regular Wayward Pine. They're gonna look there. It's too obvious and close by. Go to another one tonight, and then every day just like keep going further and picking another Wayward Pine." It says, "Rachel, Giller wants you to know he loves you," and then she says, "I love Giller too, more than anything." That's sweet. And you are like, if you were her, you would be fucking so obsessed with Giller, man. He gave you this doll. He gave
Fire stick. The ability.
He gave your life meaning.
Give your life meaning. Yeah. Yeah, and he's just like, I'm not going to meet you. Hide till winter.
He was willing to die for you, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting. I guess I want to know the mechanics of the doll. Is Giller sending like psychic messages in some way?
Yeah, I think that's implied, yeah.
Or is it more just like it almost has like Giller AI built in?
So if I take magical game logic into account, I would think that it's more of like a construct, which would have Giller AI.
Well, because I'm like, I think Giller either maybe is already dead or certainly will be dead soon. And I feel like the doll is going to still keep working. But if it's Giller AI, I don't know how it would know that he's not coming to meet her.
It's Giller AI
that he can send psychic messages to.
He is just psychically like linked to it. What he knows, the doll knows, but I don't think he's speaking directly because he wouldn't say Giller wants you to know. Like
no, he would because he wants her to think the
believe
doll.
In the story
he
of
doesn't.
The doll.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's been me all along.
It's been me.
Hello, sweet girl. Sarah was actually me, Giller, the wizard.
Yeah, it's not.
No, that's
not
worse.
As good. She's gonna feel braver.
You're starting to come across as the courtroom painter if you start doing things like that.
With one hand.
One hand. Do you think like the paintbrush was on some sort of like hand connector?
No, I think it was his non-dominant hand.
Well, it was.
Or they were like, that's why they don't want him to paint them because he's so bad at it.
It's just like, oh god, it looks terrible. He can't. He simply can't paint well with no hand.
Yeah.
So then.
Oh,
Go. Well, then the rocket's blue yellow glare.
God, that's how you want to describe
The bombs
it.
bursting in air. Yeah. It's just like an atomic bomb goes off. The whole
at the castle,
the lake, the forest, everything's like blue yellow light. And I take this to be Giller's last act of defiance.
Probably.
Casting wizard fire, probably at Darken Rahl, and therefore dying in the process. Like I take it as like a suicide explosion. Work. No, it does. The book's over after. Richard shows up like, oh, they killed Darken Rahl? Crazy. Yeah, I don't think Darken Rahl can die until winter. I think that's the rule with the boxes. He literally is
because
like,
if he opened the other two or something.
No, it's just like the rule of the. If he doesn't open one of the boxes by winter, he dies automatically.
But that doesn't make. Okay, but it had to have been because he opened one.
Yeah, he started the game.
Yeah, right.
And I think he's like his life is protected while the game's going on, like by fate.
That's really such a boost. If true.
Yeah. You know what though? Like if I'm right and the three boxes are doing the Yankee game thing at the end, one being encased in bread is going to make it super easy to track.
They're going to take it out of the bread.
Maybe you can't. Maybe it's the bread of Orden now. So anyway, the bomb goes off. The fire's everywhere, and she's just kind of like, "What the fuck was that, Sarah? What was that?" Sarah's not talking anymore. Sarah's just a doll now.
So you tell is she not coming back online?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought she was. That's what I was saying.
No,
I thought Giller AI was in there.
No, I think it's Giller AI, but Giller needs to be alive for the AI to function.
Well, that's sad for her.
The server shut down.
I wanted to think Rachel could at least talk to the doll for a bit.
No, she's alone. But I took it, and it was almost kind of sweet that she got enough from the doll to believe. Like, and you'd be like, oh, my imaginary friend just went quiet for a month. That
would be really sad, though.
Yeah.
In the circumstance. She's
all alone.
She's so alone.
After that, it's like, well, time to get on my way, Sam. Throws her sack over her shoulder, and then one last act of defiance. Mm-hmm. She takes that shiny key that she locked the princess up and just whips it out into a lake. And then when it bloop, into the water, she smiles.
Yeah, and she starts running west, specifically.
West, yeah. And then she heads west.
I liked that. I liked her throwing the key into the water. I thought it was nice. I do feel like humans would have the desire to do that, like a real person. And it thematically works really well.
I agree.
Like if you can find that nice mesh.
See, this is what I think is so interesting. Like Terry, in so many avenues, has struggled, I think, to write. And I get why people like this section now, because like this is such a nice little wrap up, like in a real like storyman's sort of way.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like the castle wasn't that detailed, and we don't know shit about politics, and Queen Melina was like less than one dimensional.
I still don't, even though upon reflection, the very first chapter with the farm,
egregious,
the socialist farmer or whatever, I did not like it. I don't think it was good, but the rest of it has been good after that.
When you think about how this resolved, and like the fact that he almost kind of like. Not effortlessly, but pretty without effortfulness, set up the box, set up the key in the box,
for sure.
Set up the fire stick, set up the doll, set up the hidden flower pot thing.
Yeah.
We had to go back to that multiple times.
A lot.
Wayward Pines were already a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
These are nice touchstones, and Terry did a good job using his own universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Here, even though, he was sloppy in that first chapter. But, like, it's almost like
less...
in the sloppiness, in the weirdness, he established enough things to pull it off in the end.
At least he took stuff from that and used it well later on. No, I just don't... The tone of that style of like political philosophizing debate.
Yeah, it's nothing to me.
I know that was his main focus, and I don't think he's very good at it.
No.
So that's an unfortunate combination. My dude's better at writing sweet little like fairy tale-esque arcs.
Yeah.
For like various kooky characters. Like actually, I think that is what he's good at.
That and nature. Go together.
Well, we've added some things. We actually think he's pretty good at sex. So impressive. He's good at romance.
He's good at sex. He's good at romance.
He's
not 100% good at action. He's okay.
I guess you're right. It's so
sometimes like what the fuck is the guard doing?
It's very hot and cold with that. But like when Richard first killed that man, that was cool with the sword.
Yeah, I've
I
never
liked
read
that.
But that concludes the chapter.
Yeah, I liked it.
And we are clawing ever so closer to the Mords.
Yeah, we are.
I'm thinking we're getting them soon. I'm thinking we're like a couple chapters away.
Frank caught me the other day. We had just finished reading this chapter.
God.
And I was like flipping like ahead a bunch.
Guys, I had to dive on her. I had the dog pile
and
on
I was
this
like
girl.
Scanning.
I was like, no.
No, you at first you were just like, what are you looking for? And I was like, I just want to see seeing Mord sit, and then he was just like ripping the book out of my hand. He's like,
no,
don't look. I really want to know.
I know, but it's gonna be so much more authentic when it hits for real.
Well, just so y'all know, I didn't really learn anything before he took it away from me.
Nope.
Okay, so shout out of the day coming from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I have to shout out username
Give
at SonarMan77.
Sonar.
His name is Patrick.
What's up, Pat?
Hi, Patrick.
Hey.
You're our shout out of the day because you have also been in the YouTube comments. You joined the gals.
That's right. Laying it
on. And honestly, literally, I think you're the only guy who comments with the gals. And so respect. I complained last time that I was like, only the girls are showing up. Only the girls are commenting and engaging in the conversation with us on here. But then Patrick popped up.
And look how foolish you look now.
I know.
It's me and Sonar holding it down for the guys.
Yeah.
For the lads.
We have plenty of guys. Look, Mr. Svenny fucking did hours of research.
He did.
To find out about the boobs.
You're right.
So we've got our guys on
Fire
board.
Mage Hits is probably a guy.
What? I know for a fact that he's a guy.
I'm saying from the name Fire Mage Hits. It could have been.
I know he's a guy.
All right.
Anyway, that wasn't the point. There are plenty of men who listen and send messages and leave funny comments on TikTok and Instagram. They're just not on YouTube talking about themes. That's all.
They're shy guys. That's what I like to call them.
I think they're funny guys.
They're funny guys, but they're shy guys.
Maybe, but Patrick showed up and he wasn't intimidated by the fact that it was all the girls. He said, I'm in the mix.
No.
I have some stuff to say. And we respect you very much for doing it. We thank you.
Absolutely so.
And yeah, you just popped up because you're all the way on these later episodes, which suggests that at some point you came here and you watched a lot of content.
Like a submarine underwater. Boop, boop, boop. Mr. Sonar, Mr. Radar, Mr. Drinking Out of Cups came out of the water. Join the comments.
He did.
Look at that.
So I want to thank you for being the male representation that we need on YouTube.
We need more swords in this sword of truth.
Less cups.
Less cups.
Not less cups. We need more cups.
Cups and swords.
Cups and swords.
Just bring the swords too.
Yeah, definitely.
And Lauren requests even more cups, apparently. So just get more cups. And
I
swords.
just say more of everything, you know?
You do.
That's my motto.
That's been your motto from day one.
Right.
More of everything.
More swords, more cups. Patrick, more of you.
And more of you, dear listener.
Oh, do we have anything else to say?
Nah. We did. We did it. We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe. We need to add more emotion to it.
We did it, Joe.
That's good.
That's good.
I'm excited to see next chapter. I suspect we're back with Richard and Kaylin.
Who else are we going to?
I really want to see how that resolves. Dear God.
It's just Zed riding a white horse across the plains for a full chapter.
His name is...
Shade Copy. Shade Copier. Is that good?
I don't know.
Show us the definition of moving quickly. That's how it would come in a
It sounded like... You sounded like Lin-Manuel.
Show us the definition of moving quickly. I don't know.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
That sounded like him.
Guys, thanks for staying after the podcast where we do Frank's hours. Comedy Hour.
Frank's Comedy Hour. There's no theme, nothing.
It's called riffing, and we're doing it live.
It's mostly you.
Yes, it is.
It is. I was thinking about, because I posted the clip today, the Daharan People's Palace gift shop. Oh, yeah. What do you think would be in the gift shop?
That's a good question. All right, so there would definitely be like a snow globe of the tomb.
I mean, there would definitely be a snow globe of the People's Palace.
Yeah.
I think there would be Chibi Darken Rahl plush.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Erica had some good ones.
What did she have?
She said there would be a replica knife.
Oh, his wicked blade?
Right,
like
you could definitely buy it, a replica, for sure.
Darken's gut carving knife. Yeah.
She said postcards, hoodies, definitely.
Yeah. That's where you make most of your money, yeah.
And then I said that I was imagining the white rose from the tomb that lights up and glows, like as if you're like on Beauty and the Beast
like Beauty and the Beast Broadway or on ice.
That's what I'd be after,
that's
and I think they'd
good
have
one.
that.
Wait, what about like keychains with your new given name when Darken Rahl steals you from your village and forces you to work in the tombs?
And it would be like those like lenticular, like weird
ones. Of course,
ones.
yeah. Just like two different.
Yeah, probably that. I think that, you could buy like a coffee table book with like glamour shots of Darken Rahl inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like on the tomb, like.
I don't know. I don't really have. Those were the ones I came up with.
It's him on the Shinga, like naked, going like.
Yeah, calendar.
Like, oh.
Naked Darken Rahl calendar. I could see that.
Hell yeah. Him on the dragon, just like splayed out. Doing a photo shoot, guys. 12 months of sexy Rahl.
Oh. You're gonna kill me with how many fucking ideas we have for, like, extracurriculars, and, like, it never happens. We're fighting for our lives to even, like, get these filmed.
Yeah, when we finish the first book and we have a little, like, room to breathe,
these are your creative.
We'll bang a couple of these out, yeah.
You think?
I hope.
Legend of the Seeker watch party is, like, 100% happening. That's not even, like...
not a question.
Yeah, no questions.
We're deaf reacting to Legend of the Seeker.
But yeah, I don't know if are you actually gonna take sexy Darken Rahl photos. I hope so, but
I'm just not the twink described. But I guess neither was Patrick Dempsey, Craig Parker, whatever his name was.
Patrick Dempsey.
I don't know. I guess
we're gonna go eat dinner now.
Yeah, not chili. Not chili. Got you. I bet you thought it was chili.
We're going to get gluten-free fried buffalo cauliflower. So that's what's up.
Mwah. Bye.